Kiran Belseka has this question. Is ULIP a better investment than mutual funds? Can anyone demystify the response? The question is purely from an investment perspective and not insurance. That's interesting because there is a whole view which says don't mix your investment and insurance. And I think you would also agree that, you know, the 10 times of the sum assured that you get mandatorily that you have to take when you buy a ULIP may often not be enough, and you may still need to supplement with a term insurance.
Correct.
So even though that's like a cherry on the top, so to speak, but not the complete cake, because you need to go out there and get more insurance. Just supposing you put in 1 lakh and you'll get a 10 lakh cover, which is nothing. But again, so her question is very targeted. She understands the fact that it's not from an insurance point that she's looking at. I know that, you know, you represent the insurance part of your business, but comparison to comparison, do you believe that in the long run, ULIP is probably far better on charges? And what has been the historical returns? Now that we've had about 15-20 years of a ULIP history, of course the new age ULIPs are very new, so it's difficult to judge their returns, but at least the old ULIPs from a return perspective, have they matched mutual funds?
See, even with the product being new, the underlying funds remain the same.
Okay.
So all the funds that you would have seen attached to ULIPs in the past, so the same funds will continue. It is just that the product which is built on top of the return, that product is new.
Oh, I see.
So that product today, earlier that product had charges. Today the product does not have charges.
Okay.
But once the money is invested into the fund, the same funds today are being, the money being invested is the same fund. So if you see the funds of ULIP plans, and if you compare them to mutual funds, there isn't a lot, they aren't a lot different. So basically they behave in a similar fashion. You can choose a mid-cap fund, you can choose a top 250 companies investing fund, you could choose basically a debt fund. So all of these funds, right, whether it is a mutual fund or a ULIP, they basically, even the ULIP funds in a way are mutual funds. The underlying asset or the way the money is invested is absolutely the same. So the underlying funds are covered through a product. You're investing into the funds through a product, and that product today is low charge. Now, if you talk about whether you should invest in mutual fund or a ULIP, if the investment horizon is greater than 5 years, then ULIP is a far better choice from 2 reasons. The reason one which existed for a while was that the charges are lower. When you compute them against a mutual fund, over 5-7 years, you will see that basically the ULIP plans are low charge than mutual funds, because there is no other charge than mortality and fund management. And the fund management charge in a ULIP is 1.35%. That's the max you can charge. Whereas a mutual fund can charge you up to 2.25 or 2.5. So the fund management charge, which is almost 80% of the cost of the product in a ULIP, is a fund management charge. Now that charge is lower. The only other charge, which is mortality charge, that charge is returned to the consumer if the customer stays to the maturity period. So if you compare those 2 products over a long period of time, ULIPs are far cheaper. Now with this year's LTCG benefit that has come in, it has become a far more lucrative option, because just to give you a small example, if one was to invest 1 lakh rupees over say 20 years, you would have invested 20 lakh rupees. If we assume 15% rate of return, which is kind of very it's possible, so it's feasible, 15% rate of return. If you compute at that, both of these, a ULIP or a mutual fund, will roughly give you about 1 crore. Mutual fund may give you 95 lakh, a ULIP may give you 1 crore. That's the kind of difference that exists because of the fund management charge. But the bigger benefit, which is the LTCG. Now, if you got 1 crore, 80 lakh is the profit that you made from a 20 lakh investment. If you invested through a mutual fund, you will get taxed at 10%. So the 80 lakh rupees of profit, there will be a 10% charge on that. So 8 lakh rupees will go as tax out of your pocket. So if you were to get 1 crore return, 8 lakh rupees will go away. You will be left with 92. Whereas in a ULIP, if you got 1 crore will stay with you, because there is no LTCG liability. There's no tax liability there. So from that perspective, for a long-term period, ULIP is any day better. But you should keep, when you're investing in a ULIP, you should keep in mind is you cannot withdraw before 5 years. So 5
You
years.
shouldn't
is a mixed-
also withdraw
Yeah, you should.
right after 5 years. You should give it
You
at
sh-
least 10
absolutely.
to 15 years.
But then you need to know that once you invest, before 5 years, if you were to withdraw your money, then it may not be a good option for you. So when you plan your investment for the long term, ensure that you stay invested for 5 years. If that works with you, then enter a ULIP.